I see the blue square. That means we're recording, right?
Yep, you're good to go. It's recording now.
Okay, very good. All right, folks, good afternoon or good morning, depending on when you see this presentation. But we've got Mr. Jamie Cruz here from Meritage Homes that's going to talk to you folks about careers in construction. And in addition, talk a little bit about how he got to where he is now and the route that many of you may be getting ready to engage. Sometimes our path to where we end up is a windy path. And a lot of times it's not a straight shot, right? So don't get nervous if you got to bounce around a little bit as you move onward from high school. Test this out, test that out, experience this, experience that. And some folks will decide today or in a couple of weeks exactly where they're going to go, what career path they're going to follow, what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. But I can only tell you this, that my life is more of a zigzag into something, moving to here. I mean, I went into the military, jumped out of airplanes for God and country for 4 or 5 years, came out to dig ditches for a construction company, and then just stuck with that construction all the way through. I was a plumber, pipe fitter. Great opportunities. Once again, you start out at the bottom. You display your integrity, your work ethic, your ability to get things done, your ability to learn, and that's key. You have to develop that ability to learn. A lot of us don't start out with that. We already know. We struggle with focus. Learn how to learn. And then as you move forward, you'll be recognized as that individual that is worth the company's investment, moving you into apprenticeship programs, into journeyman status, into lead journeyman, to foreman, superintendent, project manager. The sky is the limit. A lot of it depends on you. And this gentleman here, that has been his route, similar to mine. We were just talking. You start off at the bottom and move your way up, prove yourself every day, prove yourself in your ability, your consistency, your professionalism, all of those things, your leadership skills. And as you move upward slowly and slowly, look over your shoulder. It sounds like a long time. 10, 20, 25 years from now, you'll look over your shoulder and you will have a wonderful career path. You will have a great reputation. And it doesn't stop there. You can just keep going. I'm 62 years old. I'll be 63 in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking at doing other things down the road based on what I've already done. So again, please, Mr. Cruz will give you some information regarding his pathway, right?
Yep.
And what his company has to offer. Please, and I'm going to pass out a piece of paper to everybody as you're, I don't know about you, I live my life on these lists. I have lists of things I need to do. If during the presentation or the conversation, a question comes up in your mind, just jot it down because we'll have a great opportunity to answer any questions or give you feedback on something that you might be wondering about. Well, what does it pay? How do I get in? Who do I call? Do you work year-round? I don't know what the questions will be. But when they come to you in your mind, just jot them down on that piece of paper. You don't have to pass it in. That's for you to remember when the questions do come around. Don't be afraid to ask a question, right? Your question is probably one of a couple of things. Someone else has probably got the same question in their mind. But secondly, your question and the answer may prompt another question. And now you've doubled your information. And you see how that works? Your involvement, your participation is going to make this presentation even better than it's going to be already. Does that all make sense? All right. So,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cruz, I'll get out of your way. Thank you very much for, I guess
Yeah.
it's a fist
That's
thing,
fine,
right?
I've been back.
So I'd like to introduce Jamie Cruz, Mr. Cruz, construction manager for Meritage Homes. All right. Get out of your way now.
Thank you guys for your time. Yeah, I went to ROP actually 30 years ago, 1990. I went to ROP in Fremont, and I only took it to get the credits because I couldn't graduate high school. I was so far behind that I wasn't going to be able to graduate, and so when I jumped into ROP, I had already done a little bit of construction with my uncle doing stucco. You guys know what that is, lath and plaster. And I was like, I'm not doing this for 40 years. It was dirty, it was hard, but it gave me knowledge into what it construction. So then when I went to ROP, the teacher, he could kind of see I knew what I was kind of doing, and I think he hit the nail on the head earlier when he said that you show you want to learn, or you jump in and do things. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no dumb questions. Believe me, in construction, to this day, I still ask my boss the same questions sometimes because I want to make sure. And I think that that's what a lot of the problems is that I see with guys that are working, the younger guys especially, is they don't want to ask questions. Um, so in ROP, we actually built a house from the ground up. I went to ROP in Fremont, so we did it at Fremont Elementary School. And we did everything, the concrete, the drywall, frame. We helped the plumbers, we helped electricians, roof, everything. And actually people still live in that house to this day. It's for low-income housing. And the teacher there said, you know what, I'm going to pick 5 guys that have jobs at the end of the year in the Carpenters Union. So you guys, you show me you want to do it and whatnot. So I got picked second. I was a carpenter for about 3 years out of high school. And, I was still young and dumb, didn't have a lot of willpower, drank and got in a car accident or two. And I said, I can't do this no more because I was going to kill myself. So then I went back to doing lath and plaster. And then what happened was that got slow. And then I went to, like, you guys know, like the temp agencies, like Labor Ready and stuff. So I went there and I caught on with a company doing strip malls. They were doing like Blockbuster. That's how long ago it was, Blockbuster videos and stuff. And this is the point I'm getting at, what he said earlier about having integrity when you work. So I was doing the Blockbuster stuff, and they said, frame this wall, frame the wall, do these bricks. Like, what are the bricks? And electrician there doing the outside lighting said, hey, you want to make some real money? Come work with me, and you can make some real money. So again, what I'm getting at is you've seen that I focus. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're not messing around. I could tell you one thing. This is the biggest offender of people getting fired at work. They're on their phones. Unless you're using it for work, but this thing will get you fired for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If you go somewhere and you're supposed to be working, people see you on your phones, because where I work at, we hire like temp guys. It's called home site services. So if I needed somebody to come and, hey, I need to texture this, patches, whatever, they work for me for 8 hours, and I kind of tell them, oh, they say I'm done, then I tell them something to do next. But if I catch them on their phone, I'm like, well, come on, man, that's what break time's for. That's what lunch is for. You know what I mean? You just show that you want to work. But anyway, back to work with electrician for a while, and that was actually okay. I learned a lot of things from them, but I was learning that she's doing the same thing every day. I felt like a hamster in a wheel, but I learned stuff from there. And so what happened was I went to the electricians union and said, hey, I want to join the union, took a test. I was a journeyman electrician. I knew enough for them to make me a journeyman. It's great money, but again, I was doing the same thing every day, and I'm like, I'm not learning anything. So a friend of mine from ROP, because I made a lot of contacts from ROP, guys that were working as a carpenter still. Some guys were trim carpenters. I even had one guy, he was my assistant construction manager on my job for 5 years. And me and him were great friends. I mean, great guy, And, I would always see this guy at like church or at a restaurant. I'm like, what do you do? You're always dressed in a polo shirt, And I've seen him on job sites. He couldn't make it. He couldn't do it. It was just too hard. He's like, oh, I do customer service work for a builder. And I go, what's that? And he's like, well, you should do it. So I went and interviewed, and I was making less money, but there was better opportunity there to grow, and I wasn't using my back anymore. I wasn't physical labor anymore. So I did that for about 2 or 3 years, and then again, people seeing I knew what I was doing, they said, hey, you want to be an assistant superintendent? And I said, what's that? And so what that is there's 2 assistants. You're a back end assistant and a front end assistant. A back end, they take the home from drywall up to finished. Everything's done. The customer's going to walk the home when you buy the home. The front end guy takes it from dirt and builds it up to that point. So he orders all the lumber. He makes sure the trades are there on time. You follow the schedule. You make sure people are there. You're the one that has to call people and say, get over here. Why aren't you here? Things like that. So I did both of those jobs for a couple of years, and then the main super there, same thing. He told me, you know what? You want to be a super? He sent me to school at the company I was working for. Them, they had a class that would teach superintendents. A lot of places have it, and I took a class there. And after I took it, he goes, you know what? I can't teach you anymore. You're a superintendent now. And they gave me a job, and ever since then, you'll see in businesses, any company you go to, people are going to poach you. So people are coming to me saying, hey, come work for here, come over here and work over here. Come on, you know? So that's kind of how you network with people. But the point I was getting at is I learned all this from ROP. If I would have never met that guy from ROP, and I still see people from ROP now. My daughter went to this ROP and she took medical assisting, and she's working at Stanford now. And, you know, she did it on her own. She applied, and she went through a temp agency, same thing. And yeah, she's there. So she really enjoys it, you know. But in this trade, like he said, the road to it is just not straight. It's going to, you know, I got laid off from being a superintendent in 07, 08, you know, the economy took a downturn. And I was telling Bill, I didn't call you Mike. I was telling Bill that I went to my neighbor's house and I was like, hey, can I walk your dog? I'm bored. She's like, what's wrong with you? You don't have a job? I said, I'm not working. So she told me to go to this hotel that she was going to work at. It's a brand new hotel, just opening. They're still building it. And so I went over there, went online, filled out an application, went over there, and I was walking with I filled out, I was going to be an assistant chief engineer. Well, that was, but I was like, let me try it. So I went there, I was walking with the chief, and the guy's plastering the pool. He knew me. He's like, hey, you going to come work here? I said, maybe. The electricians, they saw me, they knew me. Hey, you going to come work here? I was like, yeah. When the guy goes, you know them? I said, I know what they do. He's like, you're hired. Just like that. No background check, nothing. Hey, do your background check, dude. You know, you don't know if you want to hire me, but I got hired. And it was less money, but again, the opportunity was there. So pretty soon, you know, I just, whatever they threw in front of me, you just tackle it. You don't waste time. You know, you just do it to the best of your ability. And pretty soon, within 2 years, almost 3 years, they're like, you're ready to be a chief. Well, they wanted to send me to freaking Texas or Dubai. And I'm like, you know what, man? I have a family. I'm not moving my family to Dubai. I'm not doing that. So the 2 years went by and I said, you know what? I'm not going to work here anymore because the growth of money wasn't there. And so I went back to the trade. You know, the economy started picking up, made a couple of calls, got in with another company. Sure enough, I worked with them for about 8 months. All these companies were approaching me. Hey, you want to come work here? You want to come work there? The company I'm at now, I've been with them for 6 years. And what happened here is I came here, and they gave me an opportunity to tackle some custom homes. Nobody wanted this job. I don't even know why they didn't want it. It was in Hayward, up by the, you guys know where, the golf course up in the Hayward Hills, Stonebreak Country Club. I built 88 houses up there. And I couldn't understand why nobody could do it. It was easy. And they just said, oh, we're going to give you this job now and this job. Then I got mad about something my boss did, and I quit. I said, you know what? I don't need this. There's plenty of other people out there. I went to one company. I made a mistake. That company was horrible. And I knew I made a mistake. I called him, and he said, you know what? You can come back. Yeah, because you know why? They knew I knew what I was doing. They knew that I wasn't going to mess around, that I'm not going to waste their time. I think I see my boss once every 2 months. I mean, I never see him. Like, we talk on the phone maybe or email each other, but he knows that he can trust me. That's why they put you in the positions. That's why they put him in positions, because they know that you're a trustworthy person. You're going to get the job done. You're going to get the job done. And again, it's not easy. I mean, there's been times where I know in the beginning when I was doing, after ROP, when I was in the Carpenters Union, I had to do some pretty crappy jobs. You know what I mean? And I knew it was because of, I wasn't with the guys, you know, the boys. They had their own clique, you know, all the carpenters, and I was new, and I had to climb on the rafters and poke shiners. I don't know if you know what that is, but I had to get a metal hanger on the end of a stud, go up in the rafters, crawl up there, and hit all the roof nails that went through. Yeah, I was like, oh, these guys don't like me, you know. But you know what? I did it, and pretty soon after that, you know, I just got a different job, and just, you know, you take what you learn to the next job. That's what I was going to say. Every job you're at, it's basically an interview for the next job. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is, because the guys that saw me at the hotel knew that I knew what I was doing. And that's why they said that. You're going to come work here? Because if I didn't know what I was doing, they would have been like, F him. You don't know what he's doing. I don't want him to come work here. But they knew I knew what I was doing. So every job I'm at, I know that I'm being watched. Maybe not being my boss, but other workers know what I'm doing. So, you know, and it's not always easy. You got to be a jerk to guys sometimes, you know, especially when your time is money. When I'm on a job, I have a schedule, and I'll tell them, how long is it going to take you? And they tell me 2 days, like an electrician, to rope a house. If he says 2 days, I have to hold him to it. We may be friends, but I tell him, you know what? There's no friends, man. This is just business. So if you can't get it done, I'll get somebody else to do it. Not that personal, but I need to make sure this job, because I got a bonus coming at the end of this house. So, you know, it's my money. So it's just, and those things you learn throughout your, you know, the progress. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, a lot of my friends that I met at ROP are like, oh yeah, we're going to work together forever. No, we're not. We're not going to do that. You're going to go on your path in life and your work experience, and I'm going to go on my own path. And we meet sometimes in the middle, but it's always up to you to make sure what you're doing. So I have to say ROP was a good place to start. Like I said, I did not think about that in the beginning. I thought it was just going to be to get credits so I could graduate, but you know, it worked, and I liked it, and yeah, I highly recommend it. I told my daughters to actually get into ROP. I have another daughter who's 19, and she took ROP. What's the sports medicine, where they do the massages for physical therapy and stuff like that. So um, she's going to Ohlone now, so we'll see if she does that. But you know, she's yeah. So I mean, like I said, ROP is great. I mean, it's not like it costs anything. Not like, and I don't think college is meant for everybody. Unfortunately, I mean, I think it's great to go to college, but if what I see out there now in the work field, you know, field people, there's not a lot of field guys anymore. They need people to be carpenters. They need people to be electricians. They are paying huge money for electricians right now. My daughter's ex-boyfriend, um, he didn't have a job. He was 19, and I got him a job with a solar company called SunPower, and he worked with them for about a year, and he had to quit. He said, "You know what, man? They party too much. They drink, they smoke, then they want to get on the roof." And I'm like, "Good thing you didn't do that." So he quit, and now he's a low voltage electrician, a journeyman electrician in the union, because SunPower, you know, he had a little bit of experience, and he went there, and now he's making $35 an hour, and he's like 25 years old. You know what I mean? He's got annuity, he's got his vacation, he's got his pension now, you know, starting his pension. But I'm saying, it's like, again, that just that little start, and he knew what he was doing. He learned all he could, and now he's doing that. So it's all about what he mentioned earlier, was integrity and how you work. And that's probably the best advice I could give to people is right now is, don't worry about what what your people think. If you're going to ask questions, they're not going to be there with you for the rest of your life. I guarantee you that. They're not going to be there with you to pay your bills. They're not going to be there with you to take your girlfriend out or help take care of your kid. You need to do what's right for you. And you know what? This is a great place to start. But do you guys have any questions, or not yet? I got some cards too. I was going to leave some cards for you guys if you guys wanted to check out the website. I know that my company does they do internships. They have people come work in the summer. You get paid, obviously, and yeah, they'll have people come out because shit, sorry, they're even going to like colleges to recruit, you know, guys that are studying construction management to come in. But I can't tell you how many times I've been on jobs where my boss goes, "What do you think about that cabinet touch-up guy? You think he'd be a good candidate to be an assistant?" And I'm like, "You know what? Yeah." And sure enough, the guy that was my assistant where I'm at now, he moved to another job. He got hired as an assistant construction manager, and he was just a cabinet touch-up guy. He would just go around from job to job, but he knew what he was doing. You know, he was on task. You know, he did what he was supposed to do. He would leave. You know, the jobs looked good. He didn't just he didn't do it halfway. And so that's what I mean. The opportunity is always there. And again, I can't stress this enough. You're always on. You're interviewing for your next job, whatever you're doing, even in school. When, you know, you're doing the stuff you're supposed to do. You're not on this damn thing. You, it's definitely it's bad. Thing yeah. No
So
questions.
you talked a little bit about the need for
Trades.
right,
Yeah.
in the various trades.
There's definitely
Can
need
you
for
talk
tradesmen.
a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Can you, not only about the need, but describe that kind of that entry level as an apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process getting into a
Yes.
union apprenticeship program? I know they're very selective. I talked to my guys time about being able to successfully get into an apprenticeship program. You don't just walk up and say, "Here I am." There's 300 applicants. They'll test 50. They'll interview 30, and they'll bring on board 20. Right? You see
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's very, very competitive. Can you talk a little bit
Sure.
about that apprenticeship process?
I got a couple of examples of that. So the kid that I got the job at SunPower with, he first, after that, he tried to get into the electricians program, the high voltage electricians program, and he went through the interview process. He took the test. He missed it by 1 point. 1 point he missed going in, so he didn't get in. And those guys, they make like $75 an hour, top out journeyman. They make $75 an hour. So when I got into the carpenter's apprenticeship program, it wasn't just, oh, you got a job, you're in. You had to go there, like you said, you took a test. You start off at a percentage, which is the lowest percentage, I think is 37.5% or something like that, or 40%er.
I think it's 40.
It's a 40%er. And the thing about it, Yeah, and every 6 months, but you have to go to school. They send you to school, and I know that each union is different. So electricians union, you go to school at night. You didn't miss any work, so you had to go to work on top of going to school 2 nights a week for a week, and then you didn't go for a couple months, and then you went again for 2 nights a week for a week. But they gave you work to do at home. You had to turn it in. You had to come back. The carpenters, like the carpenters union, you didn't go to work for a week. You went to school for a week. You went from there, and then you got unemployment. You didn't go to work. So they wanted to see that you had a card, you had to get signed, and that way your company could see it. That way they can give you that raise every 6 months, every time you went to school, and you get graded there. You do different things there. You don't just do carpentry. They want you to make sure that you know how a hanger sits in a bucket right for concrete. They want to make sure that you know that when you're doing when you're stacking a roof, that not to don't stand on the outside of the rafter. You want to stand on the inside, make sure it's nailed, is a toe nailed correctly. There's all these different things that you know they're just that process. It's like a job interview basically when you go to the apprenticeship. It is a job interview. You want to dress okay. You don't want to go in shorts and a hat. You want to dress nice. You say yes and not yeah. Things like that. It's just that's what it is in the beginning. But it's I don't want to say it's like a college, but they want to make sure that you're focused on what you're doing. So that's why you get graded. And then your foreman's grade you. They'll go back and say, hey, you know what, this guy's learning a lot more. When I did it, I remember I went to school and I was nailing shear, and I was getting paid by the hour. And I was nailing so fast that I said, you know what, I want to get paid by the piece because I know I'm going to make more money. And then my boss goes, we're going to get you off that, because he didn't want to pay me more money. See, that's what I'm saying. You get good at something, they're going to want to switch you to something else. They want to make you learn. They want to make you a full-rounded person. They want to make you be able to go. They want you to be able to go in there and say, I can tackle anything. And they're going to give you the tools to do that. But again, ask the right questions, or ask many questions. Not even the right questions. Ask many questions. But I know that I didn't get the journeyman out as a carpenter because I quit beforehand. But when he says about the electricians union, when I was doing electrical, I did go to the electricians union and I took the test and I passed. They said you're a journeyman electrician, and you could still go to school though. They want you to. There's new because electricians codes, and again, that's why you go to schools for codes. Also, code changes every 3 years, no matter what. Electricians. So in 2017, 2020, the code changed. It's going to change again in 2023. The code's going to change, so that way that's the reason why you have to go to school. Even when you're a journeyman, you're still going to school to learn what's the up and coming codes that are happening. In my field, they don't really teach that. They don't, I deal with inspectors and I deal with the engineers, and right now I'm doing a really cool project. It's in Pleasanton. I'm almost done. It's 87 houses, but they have this old farmhouse. It's almost 200 years old, and this farmer lived there, and he sold us the land. The stipulation is we're going to turn this into a community center. So when I got there, it was 20 feet off the ground. They had it on these jacks. A crane came and put it up. We built the foundation. Nobody's ever done this in my company, so they said, hey, we want you to do it. So I was like, cool. So we did the foundation. They lowered it down. Pretty cool process on how they lower houses down. Jack, it's insane. And I did everything. A new floor. There's no upstairs anymore. It's only 912 square feet. It's nothing. It's really small. They don't even have a kitchen in there, but they have. But now, when you build something, everything has to be ADA, handicap accessible. So we had to design a ramp and all these different things. And now I'm just learning that we didn't do the right fire suppression system. We have to have a fire alarm monitoring system, but it's not on the plans. So I'm dealing with the fire department, telling them what do we need. So I'm getting with the fire engineer or sprinkler engineer, saying how we do this. There's a backflow device, there's campers, all these different things, and now we have to submit plans. Those can take up, the company says it's going to take 2 months. No, we can't wait that long. We can't. You can find somebody else to do it. And that's what you do. I got to call when I leave here. I'm going to call somebody and ask them if they can do it. And so it's good to, it's good to know my company trusts me. And again, they trust me because they know that I'm not going to mess around and waste time. You know what I mean? And I'm going to, I'm not bonusing off this. It's my regular pay, but I know that they have another job waiting for me, so I want to get there. So that's basically, it's good. It's good. It's a good field to get into. It is, but definitely, I can tell you, I have a lot of friends also that are journeyman carpenters, that are journeyman trim carpenters, that are electricians, that are plumbers, and a really good
Well,
plumber.
too,
Yeah.
right?
Right around the corner from my house. But again, in this industry, what I love about it too is I own a house, and if I need stuff, I call people and be like, "Hey, man, can you come over? I'll pay you. We can trade work, whatever." Because I did lath and plaster, so we'll trade work sometimes. I got a guy building a deck in my house right now that I did some. We're gonna trade some work, but
The flip side of that is you get just many calls saying, hey, can you come over?
yeah, that's true.
You find out you're in
Yeah.
construction or whatever. Hey, we're pouring
But-
concrete this weekend. Can you swing by?
Well, that's why, in again, in the trades too, you're going to learn as well. I had to do this to my uncle who taught me lath and plaster. When I was doing it when I was younger, 14, 15, 16, whatever, then I went to the carpenters union and then I stopped and I went back to him. He was paying me like I was 14 again. And I said, it's not going to work, man. I can't do that. I know what I'm doing. You wouldn't ask me to come back. And that's why you're just trying to, we're family, cheap labor. I was like, no, it's not going to work, man. So that's what you said. I can't. I said, I can't do it, man. So, but again, the trades, I can tell you that when you get into a trade, you might not do that for the rest of your life. You could. There's a lot of people that do it, but it's going to venture off into other things. People are going to see you doing other things. And they're going to call you and say, hey, come here. You look like you're doing really good there. You could probably do this really good. And that's why I say, can't stress that enough. You're always on interview for the next job, any job you're at. I mean, that's really good. That's a good mantra to live by. I can tell you that right now. It's worked for me. It's worked for my kids. They're the same way. And one thing he said too that's important. What you said about lists, I have the same thing. I have like 25 lists on my phone for different things, personal things, work things, whatever. But that definitely helps me stay organized in life. And I actually put that onto my kids. They're list happy. Their computers have lists. My daughters, they go on trips together, and I can see, they have their own, I got to go shop. They're really good about those things. So, but anyway, I can say that you'll gain contacts from here for sure. And he's probably a good one, Bill, to say if you want to go to a job. And that's another thing also is I will give people that work hard. I've had this happen to me many times. Hey, can you write me a letter of recommendation? I'm like, absolutely. You know what I mean? Because if you're a good worker, and sometimes people ask me that, and I know they're not that great of a worker. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll get back to you, and I won't do it because you know when somebody has integrity, when they're doing the right thing. I even had people when I worked at the hotel, and I haven't worked there for 12 years. They'll call me and say, "Can you give me a letter of recommendation?" Yeah, I just had a guy call me a month ago and ask me for that, a letter of recommendation from the hotel.
So, and I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
We bring this up as well. You could confirm, because a lot of people say stuff that your biggest job now, what you folks have heard me say this, is developing best you can that foundation that you're going to launch from letters of recommendation. Good GPA. You may not think that I don't need this thing, but I walk into interview, you apply. That is something that future employer, the construction company, another type of pathway, entry-level people will be judged or evaluated by. You may not have a work history yet, but you do have a school history. You do have a community service history. Have maybe a part-time job and a letter of recommendation, or maybe a coach or somebody is giving you a letter, and that's what's going to get you in the door. Issue you don't have a reputation yet.
Yeah.
We all at some point didn't have a reputation. I'm born with it, and so work on that GPA. I think it's important. Oh, I'm going to be a carpenter. I don't need that. Well, you might get into one of these apprenticeship programs. And they're going to choose the best. The reason being is that they need to make sure that they have an expected graduation rate. Each skill or each program will have different percentages. Carpenters are probably somewhere from 65 to 70, maybe 75%. Graduation rate, they have to graduate that many people from the program. If they don't, the state of California, California Apprenticeship Council, industrial, all of those folks come down and go, wait a minute, you brought 100 people in, 20 people graduated, you're going to lose your program.
Yeah.
Right? So under those circumstances, when they bring people in, when they're interviewing you, right, the interview tests and everything, they're going to look at this individual who's got straight A's. If they haven't done any carpentry, but if they have the discipline to get that, if they have the discipline to achieve that grade level, they can probably do the same when they're in our program. Does that make sense? You become a liability. They've got to make sure that you're the type of individual, both your intellect and your personal appearances, your behaviors, your professionalism. They're going to evaluate all that and say, yes, this individual is someone I'm going to take a chance on that's going to stick with this apprenticeship program. Carpenters, 4 years. Electricians, 5 years.
Yeah.
Plumbers, fitters, 4 years, and sometimes 5. Construction labor, 2 years. Painting, 3 years. So you've got a long way to go. Again, working all day long, getting back in your truck or your car, driving to school at night, depending on the apprenticeship program you're involved with. Sit there for another 4 hours, get back home, get home at 11 o'clock. That alarm goes off at 3:30 in the morning. You got to be downtown San Francisco at 6 a.m. because you start early to beat the traffic, and it goes on, and it's tough. It's tough to stick with.
I agree with you what you said about the high school thing. I mean, I didn't get the greatest grades in high school. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I didn't care too much. I think my senior year is when I cared. But what your point about the resume, I definitely. It's great that you guys are here because you could put this on your resume, ROP, and whatever accolades you can get from here. Like, do you guys have student of the month or anything like that? I got student of the month a couple times in construction. Yeah. I got student of the month a couple times there, and I took that with me on my resume. Like he said, I didn't have any, didn't have history. I just said, on my resume, you fine tune it over the years, but I put down, I was a ROP student of the month twice or whatnot, but yeah, like I didn't realize how important school was to my senior year, and then I graduated with honors and all that stuff, but it's because people wanted to help me because I wanted to help myself. The teachers seen that I wanted to help me, so they seen that I wanted to help myself, so they were like on me about going to ROP and doing classes and stuff. So, but that's a good point that you said about nobody has a reputation. You're kind of creating it, from here as you go on. I have to say I agree with the trades. It's not always going to go the way you want it, but you can't give up. That's the thing. That's what I see a lot of guys do. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, I'm never gonna. Oh, I flunked that class. Well, guess what? You're not the first one to do it. Guarantee you're not the first one to flunk that class. You're not going to be the last one. So if you try again and you pass it, then okay, move on to the next one. So I wouldn't give up. I mean, you may change direction. Like I say, no, I give the gentleman I was talking about earlier who went from sun power to the low voltage electrician, who didn't get the job as a high voltage electrician, but what he even said, he said, I'm not going to give up. The next test is in 7 months. I'm going to do it again. So you know what I mean, and hopefully he gets it. But it's all about it's all about you and how far you want to push yourself to get what you want. Yeah, when I started in ROP, I guess I wanted to show the teacher I knew what I was doing, so he'd get off my back. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want him telling me what I was doing wrong or whatnot. Not necessarily doing wrong, but I didn't want him to always have to tell me what I was doing. So I would always just jump in and do it first. I'm gonna just do it. I'm doing it right, and I'm gonna do it. Whether it be pour concrete or whether it be finished concrete, whether it be stacking a roof or anything or doing drywall. You just want to give 100%. Just like like I said, the apprenticeship's the same way. You had a good point there. Is that when you take the test, even if you didn't do good in high school, you could still learn to do better. I'm telling my daughter this right now. She's all down on herself. Oh, I wish I would have did better in high school. My 19-year-old, because she's doing community college right now. I wish I would have did better in high school. I wish I would have listened to you. Well, guess what? Now you can't do anything about it. Now you need to focus on now and do what's going to work for you now and make it better for you now. Don't focus on the past. When you focus on the past, it's just going to bring you down. It is. So focus on the now. Focus on your future. And this is a good place to start, like I said. But yeah, definitely, I can't tell you, just from being in my trade, construction manager, how lacking we are, how I can see it. You know, I'll give you a good example. That 180-year-old house, I need 4 tiles set around this mop sink. 4 tiles. I've been waiting 3 weeks for a company to come and put 4 tiles because they don't have anybody. Everybody's busy. They don't want to come and do 4 tiles when they can go lay 4,000 square feet of tile. I'm going to pay them. I don't care what you want to charge me, just do it. But they say, you know, we're too busy right now. We'll come there. They're barely coming on Friday, tomorrow. I'm just like, dang, you know, I was like, I need to final this building, but you can't do it with missing tiles. So I'm telling you, there's the trades, definitely get into a trade if you can. Definitely get into a trade. It's very, very, you could travel. I mean, there's so many jobs. I could call for so many jobs too. Traveling construction manager. They'll send you somewhere you go there for a week and they pay for everything and then they send you home with your pay. You stay home on the weekend. You go back to the same job for a week and you come back home for the weekend. You can live there. I mean, there's so many different jobs that you can get from the trades. I'm telling you, this is definitely, and it's not discriminatory for men or women. Right now we have my boss, who's the area manager, I'm superintendent, his counterpart is a woman. She's an area manager and she has 15 guys under her and she's smart. I mean, I love to work for her. I mean, I think she's a great person. My customer service person on my site is a woman and she's great. You know, they're pretty tough people. They're pretty, you know, they're like tough, like they don't take any crap. So that you learn from the trades. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, if you want to learn, if you want to succeed, you want to go farther, definitely a trade is the way to go. You know, if you're not going to go to college, and it's not even a big deal. I didn't go to college. I know Bill said he didn't go to college, you know, but this is definitely, this will help you get on the path for sure.
You look at an apprenticeship program and compare that. I'm not trying to college.
No,
great route.
exactly, yeah.
And we agree on that. You're going to be an apprentice, and it's called an apprentice carpenter. You will go to school. 160, 200 hours times 4 years. 800 hours in class. In order for you to graduate from that 4-year apprenticeship, you'll need to have 8,000 hours in the field, documented in a series of work processes. You can't just go out and whack nails for that many years. You gotta have so much time in doors and windows, so much time in roofing, so much time in framing, exterior finishes, so much time in concrete. All of these different components, and each of those needs to be signed off by someone, by your foreman or your journeyman. So add all that up, 8,000 hours, another 800. So let's say it's 9,000 hours, 4 years. You are learning and being trained. Ask one of your friends that are going to college, how many hours a year are they spending in a classroom? I'll bet it's not 2,500 hours. Bet it's maybe 50, 20 hours a week. Times 30, whatever it is, under 600 hours a year.
I think saying that, my daughter, because she's on doing Zoom right now, I think she's only 9 hours a week right now. Yeah, 9 hours, 12, 10 hours.
Compare that to the amount of training you're getting required. Because there will be an apprenticeship director, or there'll be, you know, somebody from that apprenticeship program that will go out, because I did that for years. I would go to the job, find that apprentice I was looking for, and make sure that apprentice is getting the training they were required to get. I traveled all over Northern California doing that for several hundred apprentices. So there's somebody that's going to make sure that you are getting the training you need. If you're not, back, send you out a contractor that will train you correctly.
Yeah. So it's like the hiring hall, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Whatever
Yeah. You go to like the hiring hall.
JATC.
JATC in Pleasanton, yeah.
Right.
I went there. That's where I went, yeah.
Yeah, they get right off of Santa Rita Road.
Yep. But yeah, you are correct. What you're saying as far as when you get your hours signed by your journeyman or your foreman, and you know it's kind of unfortunate depending on what company you work for, because if you're good at something, they don't want to take you off of it. They want you to keep doing it, but you need to learn as an apprentice, because you're not ever going to be well rounded, and you're not gonna get a raise in pay, because that's how you get it, is you get your card signed by your journeyman, and then they know, oh, this guy, he's a 47%er now. Okay, you got to make this much more money, and it's a good raise. I mean, I don't know what it is now, but when I was doing it, I know it was like $3 an hour every 6 months you would get. Yeah, and now they top off at like $60 an hour, carpenters. And they have a lot of different. Oh my God, what I liked about the carpenters union, they had what is it, the annuity. They had an annuity, so every year they would save money for you, and you would get a check at the end of the year. It's like a vacation check, or you could just have it roll into your retirement or whatever. I'd always take it, but who doesn't? But and then they take care of the people. It's great medical, everything. It's great to work there. It was great. I mean, it was hard. Don't get me wrong. It's physically hard, but again, the smarter you work, the less harder it becomes. I mean, that's why you're doing the trade. You're going to work smarter, not harder. But that's the only way you're going to do that is if you learn more. That's the only way you're going to do it.
Jamie, respond to this, and I told you so. One of the greatest things about construction in general, not just building, iron workers, and it's always a good feeling as you're walking towards the truck or your car, you look over your shoulder and you've done something. See, touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of it. It's plumb, it's square, it's proud of it. And that's a big part of value of a career. Sometimes some folks just go to work and get straight out and go back home. In construction, you can feel that victory. You can feel that success. You can realize you did something. It was pouring rain, freezing cold, but guess what? You don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Got it done. Got it done. Got that slab poured. Got that roof built. Got that wall built. Whatever it might be. That cabinetry, the plumbing, the electric. Got it done. You got that underground piping conduits that are in. You can action, freezing cold, or it's 115 degrees. You're working out in the Central Valley. You got to be 20 minutes in the ditch and 5 minutes in the shade, sucking down water, and get back out and work a little bit longer. You don't go home. Go, oh man, this is uncomfortable. I'll see you tomorrow.
No.
Do that one time. You're gone.
Fired.
So it's a very, very proud, satisfaction-based career, because again, you can see it. And I mentioned this before, some of the classes you probably would agree. I would think about it every once in a while. When you get done, built a restaurant, and you built a hotel, and you built a house. Every once in a while, I think back and I say to myself, somebody is better off because of the things that I was able to provide. Not just me, everybody else too. There's a hotel that people are staying in because they're on vacation. There's a restaurant, they're celebrating a birthday party or something, or having a little dinner. It's not just a building. It's a place for people to congregate, a place for people to live. And that's something to be proud of. You build a house. The birthday parties and kids born and playing and barbecues and all kinds of things. And you made, to a great part, that possible. Your abilities, your professionalism, your skills provided that structure, whatever it might be. Every once in a while I think, and then look back to the jobs that you've done, whatever it might be. I hope people are having a good time. And that's a good feeling. That's something to be.
Yeah, sense of accomplishment, right? You
Exactly.
accomplish something. And I mean, I always do that when I drive by projects I've done before or something, or I've taken, I've taken my wife or some friends. Like I said, the houses I was doing up in the Hayward Hills there, I mean, they're ridiculous. 5,000 square feet, 2 kitchens. It was insane. It was just how big, 13,000 square foot lot. You got an acre and a half. And I remember
6 million.
No, actually, it was back when the downturn was happening.
Oh.
They were 1.4 million, but when I left, they were almost 2 million. So like in not even a year, they went up like 600,000. But it was crazy. The people that lived there was somebody there that was the guy was from China. He was a Chinese consulate, and he bought a house there. Didn't even he was only staying there like once a month or every other. I mean, $1.8 million house. But what I liked about there was like I took my friends there when we had a because in the models they sell the furniture. They don't keep the furniture, they sell it. So I took some friends there so that they could see if they wanted to buy anything. And they left disappointed because they said, I can't believe people live in these houses. We're never going to own a house like this. They were like, God, it's like a slap in the face. You know what I mean? And I was like, it made me feel a little bit good because I did a good job. But yeah, that you're right. I do. When I worked at the hotel, I built some stuff there. We built a hair salon in there, helped design a hair salon there because some famous guy was going to cut hair there. And he was so busy, we had to build another one, a bigger one. So I helped design that. I helped build a jewelry store. They had to build a jewelry store there. I helped them build a jewelry store. When I left there, I was working on a solar project with PG&E to where we were going to put solar panels up. And I remember I was getting pushback from like the salespeople. They were saying that, oh, it's not a good look. People drive up and see solar panels. Well, now look at that's all you see now with solar panels, right? Everywhere. So that was back 12, 13 years ago, but they're kicking themselves in the butt now, wishing they would have did it because the energy consumption that they were doing at the hotel was $450,000 a year. That's how much PG&E bill was a year because the lights were on constantly in the main area. It's 18 acres, this place. And so I remember they asked me to lower the energy consumption by 5% every year. So the first year I went to PG&E and said, how can we lower it? Did a proposal for LEDs in all the rooms, 100 or 88 rooms, and they had 3 villas. Changed all the energy, changed all the bulbs, every single bulb to LED. Lowered it by 25% in 1 year.
Good 5 years.
Didn't even get nothing. Didn't get a dinner. Didn't get a bonus. I quit. I was like, I'm out of here. You're wasting my time. I'm showing you guys I can do way more than what you ask, and I can't even get a dinner. Out of here. Yeah, like I'm gone.
Starbucks card.
Yeah, something. But no, it's and again, these things I didn't just, it didn't make me panic and go, oh my God, I need to go to school for this. No, I wonder how I can do this. Let me see if PG&E can help me. So I called them and they were like ecstatic. They were like, yeah. It sent me to a restaurant. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Cliff House Restaurant. San Francisco just closed down actually because of the coronavirus. I'd never been there. It was a really nice restaurant right by the water. And they sent me there to watch this presentation. They fed me lunch. They took me to a class. They sent me it was awesome. So they taught me all this stuff, and all I did was just take it back and say, hey, I want to do this. And yeah, I just saved them $125,000 in 1 year. And it was, like I said, it was incredible. Like, it was that easy. It's just somebody needed to uncover it. Just make calls and not be afraid to ask. That's what it was. Not be afraid to ask. I didn't care if they thought I was stupid. I didn't care if PG&E was going to laugh at me and go, oh, ha, 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 are you crazy? How are you going to lower the energy cost? No, I was going to do so many other things there too. But anyways, it's definitely a good sense of accomplishment. I go by there now and I'm like, yeah, I built that. I did that. Stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun working there. I met a lot of famous people there. I met at the hotel. I met Joe Montana. I met Laura Bush, Jimmy Carter. I met, well, we couldn't meet him, but Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was a governor, you couldn't even get by him. You couldn't even get that close. Jeff Bezos, you couldn't even see him. He was crazy. He had like cameras on all his windows, so you couldn't even look in the hotel. It was nuts. It's crazy. Who else? Bunch of different actors. Ashton Kutcher, he's been there. Yeah, I remember I got to work with Secret Service one time for Laura Bush. They wanted to meet us, the engineering department, to see where all the vents came into the main part of the hotel in case somebody put some kind of anthrax or something. I'm like, are you serious right now? I'm like, you have to get on the roof and you have to go through the restaurant because we had a restaurant there. He's like, can we put a lock on there? Yeah, we put a lock. He's like, where can we land a helicopter? I said, for what? He's like, what if he has a heart attack and we got to take him somewhere? I'm like, dude, the hospital's a mile and a half away. Put him in the car. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, good point. They're writing it down. I was like, these guys didn't know what the heck they were doing. But it's fun. You like I said, you get different paths and different. Even before I did this, I was gonna be a cop. I went to Oakland Police Department and tried to be a cop, and I didn't make it. I didn't make it. Background check didn't make the background check. But yeah, again,
And background check.
yeah.
Any
But
questions?
Where was this hotel at that you worked?
It's in Menlo Park. It's called Rosewood Hotel. Yeah. No, this one's no, it's in Menlo Park, and it's like where 280 freeway is at Stanford Mall, right by Stanford Mall. And actually, Stanford they put the $200 million up to build this hotel, and it's all Stanford alumni. People come there, and it was pretty cool though. So they have salespeople because they have these rooms, like 2,200 square foot room. It was basically a house. You got a butler, you got a maid, everything. And so this one billionaire guy from New York, I don't even know who he is, but his daughters were going to go to Stanford. And so they rented a villa all year so they could stay there on the weekends and go to school at Stanford on the weekday. And then they would come there and stay. And they said, hey, do you know anybody who would go to the dorm rooms and take the furniture out and build brand new Pottery Barn furniture and put it in for us every year? And I said, I'll do it because they're going to pay you cash. And I'm like, okay. They're like, how much you want? I go, how much can I tell them? Whatever you want. I told them a week's pay. I would make a week's pay in one day, every day. Every time they asked me to do it, I would make a week's pay in one day. I had to work my butt off. I had to use my own vehicle, but I did it, and I did it for 9 years. Twice a year for 9 years I did it because I had 2 kids that went there. And then all my kids have all brand new Pottery Barn furniture. All my little nieces and nephews have Pottery Barn furniture because they don't care. After one usage, they were throwing it away. They waste so much. Anyway, but that's what I'm saying. You just meet people. It was great working there. I met a lot of nice people. Fortunate part was I had to make more money, and they didn't pay a lot. They just didn't. The pay is a chief engineer. And back to what you were saying about the hard work and everything. And my boss at the time there, he wasn't a nice guy, but I wasn't going to let that stop me from being the best, worker I could be, because I was on interview basically for my next job. So when they said, I want you to go to Dubai and be a chief engineer there, and I said I can't. And they said, how about Texas? And then I went to Texas, and I just realized that I couldn't live there. I'm a 49er fan. I'm not a Texas fan, so I was like, I'm not going to go there. But yeah. But the thing is that they wanted to keep me. That's what I'm saying. And that's where the big money was a chief engineer. That was where the big money was. And you didn't need a college degree. It was a requirement in the beginning, but then they loosened the restrictions because they seen that people weren't, either they weren't applying for or they weren't getting the candidates that they needed for those positions. So they're like, you know what, let's bring somebody else in-house. And it was me, and that was it. There was not anybody else. But again, it goes with work ethic. It does. It really does go with work ethic. People, I mean, the way I look at it is even when I'm at work, like I'll have a laborer work for me, I treat him with the same respect that I would treat the president of the company. I'm not going to treat you any special just because you're the president. I'm going to treat this gentleman here. You know what I mean? And I do that with everybody at work. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, even customers. You're not going to come to my place of work and tell me how to do my job. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you this is what we're doing. Professional and it'd be like you going to somebody else's place of work and telling them how to do their job. It just doesn't work. So, but yeah, I mean, it's the hotel was cool to work for. It was definitely a lot of fun. A lot of, again, the same thing. I was doing the same thing every day for like a year, and I'm like, I'm so bored here. I don't want to do this anymore. But building houses is definitely a lot of fun. There's something new every day. I'm not even. I mean, I ran into snakes, rattlesnakes on site. I cut my fingers one time with a skill saw. I had 90 stitches in this hand. I was cutting a door. I almost cut my fingers off. I fell off a roof one time. What else did I do? I paralyzed my right side one time. I had a hard hat on. I know you guys have hard hats here, right? Yeah. Do they have the little knobs in the back where you can twist it tighter, or is it the strap like a belt? Like a belt? Oh, it's a knob. So I had that on. I went under a scaffold, and I lifted my head up too early, and the knob hit a nerve in my neck, and the whole right side of my body went numb. I had a drag in my foot, and I was like, "What the hell happened?" I was like all scared that I had a stroke or something, and said a pinched nerve in my neck. Yeah, definitely construction is not. It's not a dull moment. That's for sure. It's not a dull moment. Yes.
Oh, I just had a question. Like your company, where is it based?
My company is based out of Sacramento.
Sacramento?
They're based out of Sacramento, but I don't. They were in Fairfield. They moved to Sacramento, but the home office is Arizona. Then they have different, sites all over the place, or different main offices, like in, I don't know, Texas, different areas, Florida. But Huh?
Is there one here in the Bay?
There's not one here in the Bay, but the way I got this job was, this company was, so I was at a site in Santa Clara working for a company called D.R. Horton, and they were trying to run me around like I was 20 years old. Do this, do that, and I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna work smarter, not harder. You guys want me to? And there were 3-story buildings, so you had to go up and down this 3-story building, and I had 54 units every day. I lost like 10 pounds because I was just, you had to check every unit every day. I'm like, I'm not doing this no more. So the framing foreman there, he said, hey, can I talk to you off site? I thought he wanted to fight because I would always be on him about stuff, about parking, things like that. I thought he wanted to fight, so I was ready to fight. So we get over there, and I go, what's up? And he's like, hey, I know this company that's hiring. And I go, oh, that's why you called me out here? I was like, okay. Like, I thought you wanted to fight, And he's like, no, because this company's hiring, man, the company I work for now. And he goes, there's jobs in Hayward. He's, I'm gonna tell the vice president to come meet you, this, that, the other. And I go, why you want me off this job? He's like, because I know they're gonna use you. They're using you here. They're gonna burn you out. You know what I mean? You're doing too much. When this company, they treat their employees better. I'm like, thank you. So we're friends. So then, yeah, I went to Meritage. See, again, me always doing what I'm supposed to do, showing them that, this is the right, again, I ain't got no friends on the job site. We can, if we can be friends, great. But I'm here to do a job. You're here to do a job. Do your job. Don't try and use our friendship as, let me park here just for a minute because I got to go right in there and do something, and now I'm blocking somebody. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work. So, I guess the point I'm getting at is, he knew I knew what I was doing, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna recommend this guy. So when at the company I'm at now, I'll never forget it. I met the vice president at a Starbucks, and I went at my lunchtime because you know what, I'm not gonna do the wrong thing. Hey, I'm gonna go to lunch off site. I went off site. I told the guy, like, so this is how the interview went. I get there, I sat down. I go, you got 30 minutes. I got to get back to work. I told him that. He's like, whoa, okay, all right. He's like, well, I got a job in Hayward and blah, blah, blah. And, if you're interested, let me know. I said, okay, what's the pay? He's like, well, we're not there yet. He's like, let's do it. They had to do a personality test or whatnot. So I did it. And then, yeah, I went to the job site up in Hayward. And so to answer your question, they're based out of Sacramento. And every 3 months we have to meet for a meeting that all the offices meet somewhere. So we either meet at well, now it's pandemic, we don't have those meetings anymore, but we used to meet at they would rent a hall, and we would eat breakfast, and they would have, this is who won employee of the quarter, or blah, 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 or community of the year, whatever not. And they would just do that every 3 months, and then if you got a bonus, you get a bonus then. So you don't ever have to go to the Sacramento office necessarily. So yeah, it depends on where the site is. So if we have a site coming up, it's kind of by word of mouth. They'll be like, oh, we got a site in Lathrop coming up. You guys know anybody who lives in Lathrop that might be interested in working there?
Is there any like Central Valley?
Oh yeah.
Cause there's no adults like out here in like.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. We got a bunch of jobs. Well, not a bunch, but in Central, we got jobs in Tracy. I'm going to a job in Tracy in July to cover for a guy who's on vacation for a month. In Tracy, and then, huh?
I live in Ceres, and I
Ceres?
over here like.
Dang, no way! Wow, they got jobs in Manteca. They got jobs right now. Lathrop, a lot of jobs in Lathrop. But again, they have so many jobs out in Davis and that way, Winters and that way. Oh my God, they got. I mean, I was looking at the pipeline because we get emails on how many houses. I mean, we got work until 2024.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, like, say right now I would like to, like you guys tell us every day, like, oh, you gotta go to this job site,
Mm-mm.
like you gotta go all the way to set.
You go to one job site. What's kind of cool about this company is they're going to ask you, where do you live? And then they'll be like, you know what? Like my boss goes, I don't want anybody to travel an hour.
You like the further.
They'll tell you, yeah.
So it could be like that seven,
Yeah. So I start worrying now because I live in Fremont. I live in Newark. I'm sorry, Newark. And, Tracy's exactly an hour from where I live. And he's like, and I could see there's no work around here right now. Like we don't have any more work in the East Bay. So I'm like, I'm starting to get a little scared. I'm like, should I go somewhere else? Because I don't want to wait till the last minute. And then, everybody's getting jobs somewhere else. And he's like, no, 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 don't worry, don't worry. Even if you don't have anything to do, just go home. Go home. Yeah, just go home. We'll call you. So you're gonna pay me if I go home? He's like, yeah, we're gonna pay you. Okay, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm still at job sites, but yeah, they don't want you to travel because what happens is when it becomes a 2-hour drive or hour-and-a-half drive, you're less dependable. You know what I mean? Like this morning, coming from 580, I was going the opposite way, but this way there was an accident, and I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Our floor guy didn't show up. He's supposed to show up at 9 o'clock this morning. He didn't show up till 1:30. Yeah, customer was PO'd. And I was like, sorry. I mean, we can either do it or not do it. I'm giving you the option. I can't control the traffic, but yeah, that's a lot of companies will do that. Now there's other companies like the labor ready companies, things like that. They kind of don't care where you live. They got a job here, you're going to go there or not. That's labor ready companies like that. I worked for those plenty of times. Yeah, I got on with many companies, like 2 different companies I got on with. They wanted to keep me, but again, they weren't paying enough. That's you guys will learn. You're going to learn. But, when you work somewhere, you know what your worth is. You know what I mean? I've been doing this a minute, and I know what I'm doing. I want more money, but you know what? Why am I not getting more money? I'd ask, why can't you pay more money? What's going on? Am I not doing something right? Because if I'm not doing something right, tell me, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So that's what I mean. You gotta speak. You gotta say something. But yeah, I was worried about that too, because the company's all the way in Sacramento, but it wasn't a big deal. Because other companies I've worked for have been right here in San Ramon, Danville, things like that, their main offices.
Another question.
Yeah.
Do you guys like do apprenticeships, or you kind of just like fill out an application, get hired, and then like you get a raise like every year?
Yeah, every year, yeah. So they don't do apprenticeships. So everybody, well, how do I say this? So there's customer service.
When you apply and you get hired, if you do, you start off at.
For assistant, well, back then, assistant, I've been doing this for 15 years, so
No,
it's
well, I
different.
think for me, if I was to apply, I'm not gonna be an assistant.
Yeah.
Start from the bottom.
You would probably be customer service. They probably make like 65 a year. Yeah. And then they get bonuses too. I don't know what their deals are. So like the assistant superintendents though, they get anywhere depending on what their knowledge is and whatever is like, I want to say 75 to 80,000. And then they get a flat bonus. This is your bonus. No matter what, whether you build a lot of houses or not, this is the bonus you get. Excuse me. Now, when you're a superintendent, it's different. Everybody's deal is different. And I don't ever ask anybody's deal. I just know what my deal is, but I know that, I get paid depending on, now, they change it. They always change it. Every year it gets changed, your bonus structure. So for instance, if I have to go, like, they'll put a carrot in front of you. They'll put money in front of you. And they'll be like, hey, if you can get this many houses in 3 months, we'll give you this. And of course, I'm going to try and do it. But then they also throw in, okay, if you get good surveys, because people fill out surveys and they say, and if they're happy, if they're not happy and they say you haven't done good, each one, your bonus goes down. You know what I mean? So they always do these little things that, to make you work harder, I guess you should say. So, that, and it varies. So you can't count on, so I can't count on the same bonus every 3 months. I can't, because I'm not right now, I'm only building one house when I'm used to building like 20 at a time. So it's, I'm not making that. So now I'm trying to make it on customer service. I'm doing customer service a lot right now, which is okay with me. It's okay. My company's treated me good before. So it's like, I'm not going to cry about it yet. Or, I'll wait until next year. I'm sorry, at the end of this year. And if I don't get a bonus because I'm not building houses, then I'm going to get mad at my boss and say like, you should tell me these things because, I'm here doing whatever you say. You told me to go here. You told me to go there. Where's the reward for that? You know what I mean? That's just tell me, because so right now in my field, there's a company out there called Thomas James. They're just starting, and what they do is they go into like these areas like Redwood City or Mountain View, where the houses they're not so nice. They're probably worth $1 million, but they're not really nice. And then they'll buy a bunch of them and they'll tear them all down and build $6 million houses there, and so get a big profit. So you're only going to build 10 to 15 houses a year. Where I'm at now, I'm building like over 40 houses a year, sometimes more. So that company is highly recruiting people. So one of my coworkers left there to go to that company. So he called me. He's like, hey, can you come to this company? Here's what I'm getting at. He's like, hey, we want you to come over here, this, that, the other. Then I get a call from a recruiter. Hey, we want you to come to Thomas James, blah, blah. I said, I don't think I can go there. Well, the reason why I can't go there is the vice president of that company, I told him he was an idiot. I said, you're stupid. I told him, you don't know what the hell you're doing. He was my boss at another company I worked for 2 months, because when I got to this company, so I quit the company I work at now to go to this other company because I thought it was better, and it was 0.8 miles from my house. I mean, come on, I could ride my bike there faster than it takes me to get there. And I was there, and they were so messed up. My plans didn't match the plumbers, didn't match the electrician. The framer didn't even have plans. And I'm like, what's going on here? And we're building model houses. And so I go, something's wrong. No, this is unorganized. Come to find out, we were changing the plans. They ordered the wrong size windows. And then all the people came one time to my job site and nobody told me. That's why I got mad. Because I would have had it cleaned up. You know, I wanted to look presentable. And it was the guys that put up like the tens of millions of dollars for this project. And I told my boss, I cannot believe you didn't tell me. I started yelling at him. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. You're stupid. You don't, you know, I got mad. And I quit. At that day, I called my old boss. I said, can I come back? He said, yes. I turned in my 2-week notice. He didn't believe me. He didn't believe me I was going to quit. I gave it to him. He didn't believe it. So I sent it to HR. So 2 weeks went by, and I started telling bye everybody, you know, where do I turn in my phone and my credit card because I don't need it anymore. My boss goes, you were serious? I hung up on him. I went to HR and said, give me my check. I'm out of here. Because these guys didn't know what they were doing. And I knew I was right because not even a week after I quit my 2-week notice in, somebody that worked there 17 years quit. And then somebody that worked there 10 years quit. I go, oh, this company's going down fast. I could tell. I was like, I am so glad I'm out of here. But anyway, so when I went back to my other company, it was just a lot better. You know, they gave me some crap a little bit saying, oh, you came back, you know, you couldn't make it out there. That's not it, you know. But anyway, yeah.
We've got 4 up, so anybody have any other questions?
No, you guys good?
I have a question.
Sure.
How does you said you travel a lot, right?
I did before.
Okay, well, how did that work out for your family?
They didn't. That's why I can't do that no more.
Um,
Yeah, because I was, well, they wanted me to travel more. They wanted me to travel more, and after the first 2 times, I'm like, I'm not going to do this. You know what I mean? It was, my kids were smaller then. Now they're 23 and 19, so it would probably be okay now. But then I was coaching soccer and doing all these things with my kids, and yeah, it didn't work. It wasn't going to work. And even in the hotel business, it was hard because they're not closed. You go to a hotel, it's open 24/7, 365 days a year. Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever you work, didn't matter. So I did not like that. I had to work Tuesday through Saturday. Oh, I hated it. And so what happened was when I worked at the hotel, that was my schedule, Tuesday through Saturday. And then the guy that hired me, I come to find out he didn't know what he was doing. He got fired 3 months after I got there. And I'm like, they're going to make me the chief engineer? They're like, nope, because I didn't have the experience. So they called in this other guy who was not very computer literate. Not that I was Bill Gates or anything. I just knew how to work a computer. And he said he came on and he needed me because I had been there longer than him. And he goes, what days off you want? I said, Monday. I want Saturday and Sunday off. He's like, what hours? 7 to 3:30. That's your hours. Cool. But so that's, yeah, I worked around that, you know, thank God I saved that. But the problem is he wasn't a nice guy. And he was one of those bosses that if he didn't like you, he's going to make it so hard you want to quit. Yeah, he did that to a couple guys I worked with. I'm out of here, man. This guy is not, he's bad news. He's going to, you know, he'd fist fight people. He's just dumb, you know. But anyway, the you know, it's like you said, the traveling part didn't work with my family then, you know. If I was single and, you know, my kids, or I didn't have any, I would probably stick with it. But yeah, I definitely didn't work for us. But if you want to do it, you should do it.
I do. I want to travel a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of traveling assistant superintendent shop. If you guys are on LinkedIn yet, do you know what LinkedIn is?
I know.
LinkedIn is like a professional website like Facebook, but LinkedIn is, you know, you put your resume on there, or if you're interested in jobs, things like that. And I can guarantee you're going to get calls from people. I guarantee you're going to get calls from people. Huh?
Is it kind of like Indeed?
Yeah, like that. Yep, exactly. But it's kind of more like Facebook. There's not a lot of personal stuff on there. It's more professional. So if you're into, you can pick what you want. Like I follow a lot of builders, or I follow a lot of lighting companies when I was at the hotel, or I follow a lot of distributors for garage doors and things like that. Because right now it's hard to get. Right now, supply lumber is it's crazy.
600% up.
Oh, it's dumb.
The
It's
sheets of 4x8
plywood.
sheets of plywood
Mm-hmm.
went from $10 to $60.
Yeah.
But man,
It's insane. It's nuts. It really is.
oh,
I couldn't believe it, but
Why did that happen?
just the economy and how they're not.
a lot of the mills,
Mm-hmm.
from what I understood, a lot of the mills, the center of the company, shut down during the COVID. But when they started to try to reboot, none of the workers are coming.
Yeah.
So there's no mills. When I drive home on 580, I drive to Tracy. We have trucks loaded with lumber going east.
Yeah, not west.
Out of here.
Not west. Yeah.
You know, heading out. So
It's,
I gotta buy a lot of lumber for.
yeah, right here.
$10,000 worth of lumber I gotta buy for next year. And I talked to the guy the other day over at Home Depot, and I said, I tell you what, I'm gonna buy all new, I got 10,000 to buy new equipment, buying no lumber till my next budget, which
Yeah,
is next
Next
year,
year, yeah.
which is after the end of June. Then I'll come in and, in August or September and see if it is big, because I ain't paying $60 for a sheet of plywood.
I think a lot of it too has to do with also the fires in Texas and whatnot, and then also in Mexico, a lot of the components like plastic and stuff that they make garage door openers with and breakers for panels come from Mexico, and it's not coming as fast as we need it, as people need it here in the United States. I mean, it's just that's what it is. It's going hand in hand also with the economy, people. But there's a high demand. Housing, it's crazy right now. There's such a high demand for houses. I mean, there's not enough houses for people to buy. And I'm not just talking about investors. I'm talking about people to live in. There's just not enough. It's just not. And it just puts a dent in everybody with the lumber going up. And I'll give you a good example. We were building houses, and people were supposed to close escrow on loans in Christmas, and because there was a shortage of plastic, we couldn't get windows. So windows were out like months. I mean, people were homeless. They were telling us they're going to be homeless. What do you want me to do? I can't do anything. I had a lady calling me crying. You're talking to the wrong person. I only build houses. I'm not a therapist. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I can't get a window. I can't get a building final if I don't have any windows in the house. That's just plain and simple. So we lost a couple people for houses. Right now, we're doing a project, and you guys are familiar with Hayward. You know where the old Kmart is? Right there on Harder. Is it Harder and Mission Boulevard? Chapel Chimes. Go down one more block, the car dealerships. They're building a hotel. They're building a big hotel. Across the street from that, by the BART tracks, is Project Meritage Homes is doing, called Mission Crossings. It's all 3-story townhomes. And in front of that is a big dirt patch. You know what that dirt patch is? It's supposed to be a hotel. Another hotel that's supposed to be built there that pulled out, and they said, we're not going to build because of the economy. Well, the city of Hayward said, we're not going to give you any more permits now because we were supposed to have a hotel built to a certain percentage. And sure enough, in the contract, that's what we signed. But we also picked a hotelier at the city of Hayward's direction. They said, you should go with these guys. And then they pulled out. And now they don't give us permits. Now we're suing the city of Hayward. Yeah, they're in court with them. I think they went to court last month, and they're going to court again next month. But we got 60 more houses to build, and we can't build them. Yeah, we've got foundation support and everything. Yeah. So now, lost. I was supposed to go there after this job, but now I'm going to go to Tracy now. So we'll see. And then after that, next year I'm going to there's a country club in Richmond. I'm going to go build some smaller, like not retirement homes, but if you wanted to go to a country club and hang out in a house, I'm going to build like 80 of those or something like that. So yeah. Definitely, but yeah.
Oh, question, my bad. Don't mind like giving us your like number.
I'm gonna give you my card. I'll give you guys my card. Yeah, I got some cards here. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm about to graduate, so like thinking about.
Absolutely. You should.
Like a year ago.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
No, it's
All right,
definitely.
we got one thing to do here. We have somebody who just got older.
Oh, it's your birthday?
Brandon.
Oh.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh wow, that's cool.
Happy birthday to Brandon.
I didn't know his name.
Happy
birthday to you. Right on.
I make a much better plumber than a singer.
Yeah.
You get that? All right, folks, we got cards.
Yeah, you guys can take one.
Take a little break, get up, move around. We got a couple of things we gotta get done. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. Hey, you guys can email me or call me, whatever. My cell's on there, my work email. You want some advice on, what, I could talk to my boss too on how to get, I know that, like I said, I know they go to colleges and stuff, but, I'll tell you a funny story. I'll never forget it. I was a carpenter, and I was just starting. I was probably like my first year. And my carpenter foreman back then, they didn't care. You could drink beer, drive in the Ford. They didn't care back then. But anyway, he's all, go to the assistant superintendent Go to him. He wants you to go cut something. So I went over there, and this guy was only book smart. He was out of school. He was only never been in the field. He told me to grab my reciprocating saw and come with me.
What do you mean, Sawzall?
I said, "What the hell's a reciprocating saw?" I had no idea what that was. He's like, "You know, the saw, the blade goes in and out like that." I was like, "Okay, yeah, Sawzall, okay." And I said to myself, "You know what? I want to be the person that I know what the tools are. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to be the book smart person, you know." And I didn't know how to read plans also when I was in. I mean, I didn't know how to read them. I know you guys don't have plans, right?
We touched on.
Touched on them.
Well, we're just started in this. We just started a couple of weeks ago. It's mostly been online.
Yeah, and plan reading is not. I mean, to me it was intimidating at first, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't. If you go in there and do it every day or every time, I would just take them home and look at them, even if I wasn't on that, or if it wasn't, I didn't need them. I'd be, "Hey, can I take those home?" Just to look at them,
Did
to
you hear
feel,
that before?
just to familiarize myself with them. I didn't even know what I was looking at, to be honest with you. I just wanted to realize, oh, that symbol means a plug. Where would I see a plug? And you just start going through them. You know what I mean? It wasn't trying to impress anybody. I was just trying to learn. You know, just trying to see what I could learn. You know, but yeah, I
The
now.
beauty of that is,
Mhm.
you look at them over the weekend, you end up with questions, you go back and
That's right.
you've got a good journeyman working for
Yeah.
you, you're gonna say, hey, what does this mean, you know? And if you have already proven yourself as that individual.
Yeah.
It's in it to win it, right? Get better, and journey people recognize that, move a lot of their way to
Mhm.
help you and teach you. Hey, you forget your plans, you know.
Tell you what, and it's not. I know what a lot of people think. Oh, you're a kiss ass because you're, taught. You want to show the journey. No, I'll tell you what. I went to work with electricians the ones that wanted me to do the offsite work. I went to work with them, and then another guy came on board. He was there before me, and he was one of these like tough guys. Like he was tough, like he was in prison or something before. And so I just wanted to learn. The journeyman, he could tell. I had sticky notes all over my trucks. I had questions I wanted to ask how to bend pipe like that with not with the hydraulic bender, but with the regular, bender, and things like that. And I remember being there, and I go, oh, I'm gonna ask him, how do you do this? He's like, oh, you don't need to know that. I didn't say I needed to know it. I want to know it. It's not that I needed to know it. You know what I mean? Get away from me, man. Get away from me. You know what I mean? It was like it's not that I needed to. I wanted to know it, even if it didn't apply to what I was doing. It was for future reference, so I know what the hell is going on. So, and then, like you just said, though, the journeyman's gonna recognize that. He recognized that. That guy taught me, and he kept telling me, do this, do that. The other boss didn't want me to do anything because you know why? He didn't want to pay me more. I knew it. I knew he didn't want to pay me more. So I was like, I'm out. I'm gonna go. That's when I went to the union. But he helped me get there. He helped me because I wanted to learn, because I was asking him the questions and he gave me the answers. Even when I quit, I called him because I was doing some side electrical work and he helped me. I'll never forget it. I could tell he didn't want to talk to me, but I called him anyway because he was my go-to. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you guys, I can other.
If anything comes up, and we'll stay in touch, and folks can spread the word
But I
around.
have one more question.
Sure. Yeah.
So, talk about, is it for us, said we start off as what again? Applying?
You start off at customer service.
So
That would be the best part to start off
So
with.
when we apply, are we applying to be like, we do, or we're gonna, like, labor in the field?
Customer service is not labor.
No, that's what I'm
No, there's no labor jobs where I'm at.
Okay.
We hire laborers to do
So
stuff.
we're gonna do like, not computer work, but you know what I'm saying, not like.
You will do
physically
computer
in the
work.
job.
Yes, you will. You'll do computer work. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh yeah.
That's
I can
what
type
I'm
40 words a minute, man. I can type fast. I am a typer.
So say, like, I don't got experience, like, doing that, they send you to school, right?
Well, they're not going to send you to school, but they're going to take you. Yeah. So right now, there's a customer service person. I was going to say woman, but customer service person. But she's learning from another customer service person, and they're just going together. They're just going to site to site. They're on my site today. You know what I'm saying? So they're not just going to throw you to the wolves, especially if you don't have any experience in it. They'll make you be with somebody. So I'll give you an example. When I did customer service work, when I started, oh man, I have to say I was so lucky to get hooked up with the guy I hooked up with. We were friends for like 10 years. I mean, he is a great guy, younger than me. And that's one other thing. I never took it that if somebody younger than me was trying to tell me something as, who are you to tell me I'm older than you? You know what I mean? I don't do that. Not even to this day. If I can learn something from you, then I want to learn it. But this guy, he was just so customer friendly. I was like, I want to emulate that. I mean, he was just really good at his job as far as, making sure like somebody had to leave. And you got to tear all their carpet out. We got to move all their furniture. You got to, what I mean? It's kind of invasive. Wouldn't you be pissed off if somebody, oh man, I got to move all this stuff out of my bedroom now because you guys got to fit. So he would just know how to calm a person down and, get the job done, get it scheduled. And I just kind of learned from that. But that's what they'll do. They'll take you, there's a lot more computer work now. Every company has different systems, Salesforce. Yeah, it's all about scheduling. I'm telling you, it's all about organizing. The organizing part. I'm not going to lie to you. My truck, I have a lot of tools in my truck. Because you know why? I'm not going to wait for somebody to come sometimes. I just won't do it. I'm not going to do it. A lot of the customer service people I work with, they have nothing in their vehicles. Nothing. They have a phone and their computer. That's what they have. Yeah. But they'll have to go in like today. This lady, the customer service person, they had to replace some floorboards, but we had to move the fridge. Okay, you're not going to move it by yourself. So she asked me to move it. And I go, well, it's a hardwood floor. Are you going to put anything down? And she's like, well, I was going to put carpet down. And I go, how are you going to lift the fridge on the carpet? I don't understand. How are you going to do it? She's like, oh, yeah, I go, I know a good way. The thing that you roll your chair on, your computer chair, that plastic, they sell something at Home Depot, melamine. It's the same thickness. It's super thin. So it's $11. I went and bought it. The company's going to reimburse me. I cut it to fit the fridge. We slid it out. Guess what? Floor guy didn't show up because of the friggin' accident this morning on 680. So I left her. I told him, you want to leave your fridge here till it's still plugged in? And they're like, yeah, just leave it here till he comes back tomorrow. So tomorrow I have to go move it back. So that's, I had to do that. The other day I had to get on a metal roof, and what happened was on the downspout, every time it rained, the person in the house would hear, and she couldn't sleep. She was pissed. So we found some rubber or something to put in the downspout, but the laborer we hired, let's just say he would have fell off the roof. He wasn't competent to get up there. So I got up there. I got a ladder, went up there, slid across it, came down sweating, put my knee pads on, you did it, came back down. There was, oh, thank you. We didn't have to wait for the roofer. He would have charged us. So I'll do some stuff. You know what I mean?
You're
I don't.
always ready.
Huh?
You always ready for
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I'll definitely get up there. I don't care what it is. The other day I changed you know what a ring doorbell is? The ones I changed one of those. I never did it before, but took it out of the box, read the instructions, learned it. You know what I mean? It's like just have to do it. So that's yeah. Cause yeah, yeah. But no, it's definitely a learning. I'm learning something every day. Like I said, that house I'm doing, the 180-year-old house, learning new stuff about that. You always find it's in this business where what I do is I found it today. It's like I'm a detective. So this lady is saying she had a problem with her ceiling fan. And the customer service person came back, and she's new, so she doesn't know all the ins and outs. And she's like, do we install ceiling fans here? Because I know some communities don't. I said, no, we don't install them. How do you know we don't install them? It says right here what we install and we don't install. So that lady was lying to her. She just wanted her to fix her ceiling fan. So I was like, see, she's like, are you sure? So she went and checked another area. She called the old salesperson, and she did all. I go, I told you it's right here. Sure enough, the lady wasn't lying. She was lying to her. You know what I mean? I'm like, so that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to know your stuff.
So about to say, you said like every year, right? So
Mhm.
first year you start,
They start for like 65, yeah.
and what do you max out at?
Customer service people, I'm not sure.
Or like say like when you go to kind of
Superintendent though, you can. I mean, there's so many different. I mean, they get 110, 120.
say like the first year you get 65, right? Right, I'm like later the second year, what does it go to the second year?
It's not a big jump. It's like 3%. Yeah, they don't see. And I was like you in the beginning, thinking that way. I'm like, I'm kicking butt. You know what I mean? I should be. What do you mean I don't get a 5%, 10% raise? Nobody does that. Yeah, but it's not true. I shouldn't say nobody does that because when I went to that Hayward job up in the hill and I started there, like I said, nobody wanted to do it. I couldn't understand why. Why doesn't anybody want to do this job? It's not hard. I was there 3 months and I got a raise. They were just grateful that I stayed. I'm like, I'll stay. Great. And then at the end of the year, I got another raise. And it wasn't big. It was 3%, but still, yeah, it was something. It was 3%. But again, and I don't know what the whole bonus structure is and every company is different. Every company has a different bonus structure. Like we get a bonus every 3 months, where some companies once a year. That sucks. I don't like that. But
So there's an old saying, get your foot in the door.
Yeah, but
That's where you can.
that's exactly it.
Develop your reputation, get a good resume together, get good references, so,
Mhm.
so your level is $10 now. You're not gonna be there, right? Get in there, know you,
Mhm.
heard it a couple of times, develop relationships.
Yeah.
They can help you move
Get-
forward.
Get a letter from this guy.
Get a little training, develop your social network,
Mhm.
business, so take that first opportunity. $10, $12, 15, whatever, just get in. And you're on a roll. You can move from there, but your horizon will broaden once you get into that workforce. You can see all of the different avenues that you play.
Yeah.
Carpentry, you can go 100 different routes under that banner of carpentry. So don't realize that until you get in there and start being paid.
Well, yeah, carpenters like,
So just get in with whatever you can. Well, we only pay 15. Take it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be here forever. I'll take it. I'll do this for a year. I'll do, at least, gas money.
I think that also too in carpentry, there's also piecework. You don't get paid by the hour, you get paid by the job. So if we're gonna give you $400 to frame the bottom of that house, period. If it takes you a day or two, you make $400. So there's ways to make more money as well.
Yeah, I got a friend. So
Mhm.
says he gets paid by,
Paid by the window, right?
and then he's like, he's good at what he does, so he.
Oh, the window guy for that works for so the window guy that was doing the installations, he has his own crew. He got so big, he got so many jobs. The guy's only like 35. He quit. He's I don't want to work for this company. He started his own company, and I see him on the job site like 2 months ago, driving a Mercedes to work. I'm just like, God. And he make big money, huh? He's like, oh yeah, we get paid by the window, man.
I had never planned to go into construction. I took a job out of the Army for $3 an hour. Digging ditches. 1979. $3 an hour.
Damn. I got a similar story. When I was in the carpenter, when I was going to be a carpenter, they said, oh, you need boots and you need a tool belt. I didn't have any money. I was partying. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. So I went to Live Ready, making $5.50 an hour, jackhammering the side of a hill for one day. And then the next day I went back, I had to pick concrete with a pick. And I was like, just to buy boots. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. I am not doing this crap again. But you had to do it together.
That particular company, again, just like you say, if you get in there, you kind of,
Yep.
you kind of gauge $3 an hour,
Yep.
turned into a couple of months later, 4 or 5. And within 5 years, I was lucky. That guy was a great guy, and I was very, very fortunate. But chief estimator, for a plumbing contractor in Oakland, and it wasn't anything special about me. It was that guy's ability, willingness to teach me.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out fine.
Well, you wanted to learn. You seen that you were organized, and that.
Well,
I mean, that's huge. Being organized is huge.
Choices, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in this room has the ability to do that, whether you choose to do it or not. Sometimes you look at some of the anything you get and say, well, that's too hard. I can get by doing this. I don't need to shoot for this. If you're going to settle for this, you got to settle for everything that this comes with.
Mm-hmm.
Lower wages, no gas card, no security. You see what I mean? But if you choose, and everybody in this room has the ability, nobody that doesn't. You discipline, you choose to make that process happen. Your buddy that we got the same job at the same time, he's having his days of leisure and just kicking back and not worrying about anything. He's still there. He's making that lower wage. Maybe he moved up. And there'll be other people at different levels. So it's all about your personal ambition. What is your discipline? You want to have fun? Take 10 hours a day and get serious. And then have fun.
Got to find a balance. Got to find a balance too, right? But also too, what he was saying about gas card and stuff. That these companies, they do that. Anybody who works here, you get a car allowance, whatever that is. They pay for your phone, part of your phone bill, because you're using your own phone. Some companies give you phones, but, you know, a lot of the customer service people have credit cards. They go to Home Depot, get whatever they need. They don't have to, sometimes they have to use their own money, but they always get reimbursed. But no, a lot of the companies, like you said, you get the perks in there, you know. And again, you touched on something else is where people are going to, yeah, you may want to, you know, you're going to know when you go to a job and be like, you know what, this isn't for me. This isn't, I want to do this, you know, and that's nothing wrong with that. Let me go try something else, but just, you got to give it 110% first. You don't go there for one day and go, this isn't for me. Unless they're making you do something illegal, you know what I mean? But you got to stick it out. You got to try it. You know, you got to at least try it. If you don't give 100%, you're not going to, you do the bare minimum, like he said, that's what you're going to get is the bare minimum. They're going to go, like I've had laborers work with me, and some gentlemen are a little bit older, you know, I'm not going to treat them, I treat them with respect. I'm not going to make them do, you know, super hard stuff. And then you get some guys, they got everything. They got all the tools in their truck. They got, this guy's staying. He knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? He came prepared. And I'll have those guys stay for a month, whatever, however long I can keep them, that my company will allow me, because we pay for it. But, you know, being prepared and organized, I can't tell you what a big plus that is for anybody that sees that. Not just me. I'm not doing the hiring, firing, but my boss will see that, or people see that, or, you know, even customers see that. You know what I mean? The people you work with see that, you know. And again, hate to, you know, I used to be, oh, you know, this guy thinks that I'm a kiss ass because I'm asking. Nope. I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to ask all the questions I want. I don't care what anybody thinks. You know what I mean? Because that's for me to know. I want to learn. I don't care what you know. I want to know what I want to, you know, I want to know to make myself grow. That's it.
All right. Wrap it up. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Yeah. If you guys want to give me a call or email me, no problem. Yeah. But you'll have to say where you're from, though. Say you're from ROP. That's why I tell customers when I give them my card, I'm like, you got to say your lot number, because I know numbers very well. If you say you're lot 82, I know exactly who you are. If you're telling me you're Joe Smith, I don't know who the hell you are. I have no idea.
All right, I'm going to wrap this. Okay, that finishes the presentation. See you next time.